Well, YouTube, it looks like today is time for another good old classic fashioned exposed video on none other than Elvis the Alien. Why, you might ask? Well, it seems like he has a bit of a problem with, taking accountability. Like, YouTubers love taking accountability, but Elvis the Alien, he doesn't like doing that so much. So I think it's time we ought to have a little chat about just how much of a fucking douchebag this guy is. Alright, so most of what I'm probably going to be talking about here might not be new to, like, some of the hardcore fans of commentary, but if you're a new person, this will probably all be relatively new to you, so I'm going to try to keep this brief in, like, 10 minutes and condensed and really, focused so you guys can understand. Also, like, if you're new here, subscribe, whatever, like, to be honest, like, I just really want to get this off my chest, because I saw this thread, and it was really stupid and really dumb. Mostly in part due to this fucking prick. So, let's talk about Elvis, right? He tweeted out, dunking on David Dobrik, like, as you do, right? Like, that's to be expected. It's like a free point, dude, right? Like, you could dunk on... It's like Logan Paul Suicide Force, right? Everybody dunked on Logan Paul. It was easy. You got free Twitter likes, right? You got free dopamine. Everybody took that opportunity. I'd take that opportunity. In fact, I probably did. I just probably don't remember it. But, Elvis, he's like dunking on this guy. And then some dude, right? He says, opposed to you, who falsely accused his friend of terrible shit on a podcast and never even bothered to make a video apologizing. This was a tweet made by Kleba YouTube. He's from what I've gathered from his profile, he's like a small YouTuber that doesn't upload, probably around 1,000, if not less subscribers, right? Who cares, right? That's my level, my status. Nobody cares about me. Why should I care about this guy, right? Well, I guess it's mostly we were talking about him because Elvis decided in a just jolt of wisdom that he needs to respond to this. And what you might be asking yourself, does Elvis, does he acknowledge that, I could have handled the Zaptie situation just a little bit better? No, he's like, no, bro, not comparable in the slightest. I was never his friend. Also accused of him of what? Being a sociopath? He told us himself that he was diagnosed, only later to reveal that he was lying. He said, "You're wrong, you're worth getting arrested for," to an underage girl, but I'm the bad guy, I guess. And Nicholas Diorio, he's like, this is kind of a hot take, you might say rather. And I have to admit, I think this is a little bit overboard, Elvis. I think this is kind of not the reaction you want to have to this. Now, of course, people that are unfamiliar with this situation, unfamiliar with Zaptie, I cannot do any justice at all. So I'd recommend Turkey Tom's video on Zaptie, as well as Nicholas Diorio's. Nick Diorio on YouTube, Turkey Tom on YouTube. I know, like, 100 sub-YouTubers shouting out those guys doesn't really mean much of anything, right? But anyways, those guys have really good videos on those people. But the Cliff Notes version of it is basically... Zaptie was a guy that had some real problems, like, as a young adult. I think he was around, like, 20, early 20s anyway. And he was diagnosed, I think, with being a psychopath, but I am also pretty sure that might have been, like, a false diagnosis. In fact, I think it might have actually been, or it was an exaggeration, or whatever. Basically, these guys jumped the gun and really fucking screwed his YouTube career over, and that's like that, right? So, yeah, that's not a very fun situation. Not a situation you want to be wrong about, right? So, that's kind of why seeing this response from Elvis is just a little jarring, I'd expect a little more remorse for somebody that you did a podcast with, but then again, YouTubers don't typically have a lot of remorse. From the couple months that I've been uploading videos, I don't often see these people have much remorse at all. Not even in the slightest. Of course he was not his friend. He used him to move up on a podcast like most YouTubers of his ilk. Talk about a backstabbing lowlife. It sounds like he didn't care to watch Nicholas Diorio's video, like there was no nuance. Now, maybe this would have been the end of it, right? Maybe. But it wasn't. I have some of these screenshots out of whack because I had to go back through them, and he fucking deleted his thread because he's a fucking spineless coward. But the next screenshot I got here is from Nick, and he's like, you know, he's been hiding for like 6 months, and this is what he comes back with. Yeah, it's like, yeah, like, no shit. Like, I don't understand how you could be so obsessed with your own ego, your own self-image. Like, but even then, I feel like your self-image at some point, right? I feel like at some point your self-image, like, if you want to persevere that, you would, like, just to take the L on this, I guess, or I don't know. Like, I feel like at some, this is the thing I've never understood about, like, the egomaniacs of YouTube, is, like, admitting that you're wrong, like, once or twice, like, it doesn't destroy your ego. Like, you could still fucking be a fucking cunt. I don't get it, man. These people just are fucking way fucking out there, I suppose. I find it funny when people say that I'm a bully or the harasser. People treat drama channels like a slur, but then expose themselves as being morally bankrupt. It's fascinating how degenerates rationalize their degeneracy. Elvis continues by saying, "We were business partners. Friendships may sometimes spawn from business agreements. With Ed, it never happened. Newsflash, YouTubers want to grow their channels. It's mutually beneficial to start a podcast. None of us were friends when we started Hot Wet Soup." And then, an even bigger act of sheer brilliance, Elvis says the pedo stuff came out after the podcast was released. No, it wasn't, because the podcast actually mentions minors. So yeah, he basically just comes out and confirms, yeah, I didn't actually watch Nick or Tom's video on it. I'm just fucking grifting my opinions along and seeing what, you know, what the popular opinion on the situation is, and just, like, molding my statements around them like a little fucking slimy rat. It's so fucking, ugh. It's typical YouTuber shit, I'd say. I guess typical PR shit. Now, where do I come into this? Because I'm a selfish bastard, and I would not actually touch this situation, probably, if I didn't have any stake in this. Well, that's, you know, that's me being a little harsh on myself. I probably would. Mostly because I just don't like, you know, Elvis all that much, and you'll see what, I'll explain why when it happens. But, Tommy's like, you know, responds to me, which is, ooh, pretty epic. I'm a 100 sub YouTuber that got quotes retweeted by a 40k sub. I better fucking, you know, take my 5 seconds of fame while I can, right? And he basically says, yeah, you're right when I say David Dobrik did more to apologize than fucking Elvis the Alien. And then Tommy does a couple videos, like, just going in on Elvis. Yeah, he has a funny rant on his fucking podcast channel that I'd recommend. Again, 100 sub YouTuber recommending people. Haha, really funny. And I think this is, like, my biggest contribution to the drama is this, because it's really, I think it really just sums up who Elvis is. And it's this. And it's just this tweet, right? "We were just business partners. My riots are more justified than yours. The only time this guy is capable of anything, any critical thinking, is when he's fucking reviewing movies. And that's a stretch." And then the tweet I used is him when the January 6th riots happened. Him basically saying, yeah, but my riots were more justified than yours. This guy, this fucking guy. Like, this sounds like a fucking comedy sketch parody of a human being. Like, genuinely, like, who thinks like this? This guy's a grandstanding YouTube, like, self-insert, like, 9001, right? Like, these people have fucking no shame. Absolutely no shame in doing whatever it takes to guarantee the future of their YouTube channels, even if it means being the biggest piece of shit degenerate on the platform. And it really shows. It really fucking shows. Anyways, I've been KB Baby, right? I don't have much more to contribute to this, so we're gonna end it here. I've been KB Baby. Elvis the alien is a cocksucker. God bless your soul. Stay rat. Don't be radicalized. And I am signing out. Peace.